It was just 50 days ago that we gathered to celebrate the Lord's resurrection. And for many of you, you were baptized or received into the church as part of those Easter ceremonies. And what an incredible few days they were, weren't they? Where we gathered around the altar to celebrate the Lord's Supper, where he washed the feet of his disciples, and then he took bread and wine and said, "This is my body that is given for you. This is the cup of my blood that is poured out for you." And then the next day, Good Friday, we remember Jesus stretched out on the cross and his great act of self-sacrificial love. And then, in our celebration of the Easter vigils, the masses of Easter, we celebrated the Christ rising from the dead. And what are these things are about? It's about a God who does not give up on us. No one is excluded from his love. A God that does not give up on us. And that even on our journey now, he wants to be with us in his Eucharist. Because he doesn't give up on us, even though he knows we struggle at times. We get it wrong. But he's always going to be there for us. And that's what Pentecost is about as well. 40 days after Jesus ascended into heaven after his resurrection. Now 10 days later, with the Father, he sends the Holy Spirit to dwell in the hearts of all his disciples. The presence of his Spirit of love within us. That's what we celebrate today. It probably didn't come down at the Easter vigils you were at with tongues of fire or the sound of a roaring wind. But nonetheless, our God is faithful. That Spirit is given to you. A Spirit that grows slowly within us as we become more and more attuned to the Spirit of God moving and working in us. But with the Spirit of God, we've got to learn the language. Learn the language of the Spirit. The Spirit speaks to us in our imagination when suddenly, when we might hear a reading or a homily and we think, oh, and we notice something. And it's as if the Spirit was tapping us on the shoulder saying, you need to listen to this. Or those moments when you might be in despair or really stressed about something, and all of a sudden, out of nowhere, this incredible peace comes. And we know the Spirit of God is enwrapping us in the love of God. So many ways the Spirit of God works in our lives. The coincidences, what seem coincidences, but the Spirit weaving in and out of our lives and weaving us into the life of God. That's what we celebrate today. A God who doesn't give up on us. And we think where the disciples were on that first Easter Sunday. They were locked in a closed room for fear of the authorities. And And as we heard, Jesus came and stood in their midst. And his first words were, "Peace be with you," as he showed them his hands and his side. And then he said to them again, "Peace be with you." And he breathed on them. "As the Father has sent me, so I send you. Receive the Holy Spirit." A spirit given, a spirit to be received, but a spirit to be lived. I just noticed something really beautiful, and I hope I don't embarrass them. But just as the gospel was coming and I was putting my crozier back in its stand, I noticed a couple behind me standing together, holding their hands together. That's what the Lord wants to do with us. That's what his Spirit dwelling in our hearts. He wants us to know that I am with you. I don't give up on you. And I want you to do great things. And that's what the Spirit has been given to us for all kinds of services and activities. You see, we receive the presence of God, and we're called to be the presence of God, to go out into the world to make a difference. We are God's great team, Team Jesus, filled with his Spirit. We're called to go out there, not to hide our faith, but to share it, to let people see our radiance and joy that we've found in the Christ. And the more that we do that, the more that radiance of the Spirit will grow in us. And in that way we become salt for the world, flavouring the world by a Christian presence. I look at the world at the moment and I think it's going horribly wrong. But people are coming back to faith, searching, because our world has forgotten our spiritual dimension. And it's an intrinsic part of who we are. So as we celebrate the great outpouring of the Spirit today, let's delight in our spiritual self. That space that belongs to God alone. And it can only be filled by him and his Spirit. St. Augustine once said, "You have made us for yourself, O God, but our hearts are restless until they rest in you." May you know today and always the Spirit of God dwelling in you. May you become more attuned to hear the Spirit speaking in your hearts. And may you share the fruits of the Spirit, the gifts of the Spirit that you've received, as you share your faith and live your faith amongst the people of our city, of our diocese, of our world. And all the while, we keep asking that simple little prayer, "Come, Holy Spirit, come to us today."